Hello, my name is Marty Williams. I'm with Triangle Gameworks. We're a group of students at Wake Tech that are currently doing a RTS style video game known as System of Malice for a final project we have for our last semester at school. I want to take you through some of the steps in creating a terrain, usable terrain, and a nice looking terrain that should be pretty easy to pick up for someone who's been using Unity a little bit. This is a tutorial for those who are already aware of, already have some basic understanding of how to use the software, how to open files, import packages, things of that nature. So the first step, in creating a terrain in Unity is to go to the terrain editor and then click on Create Terrain. Now the terrain, obviously right now, just looks like a flat plane, and Unity creates them in a default of 2,000 meters by 2,000 meters. We can change the size of the terrain by going to Terrain and clicking on Set Resolution. Now here you'll see the terrain width and the terrain length, and remember in Unity everything is in meters, so we've got a map that's basically 2 square kilometers. So what we're going to do is we're going to break it down to maybe 1 square kilometer. So our map will be pretty good size, but nothing insane. But just for the purposes of this tutorial, we're just going to stick to the width and length. We're not going to go into the other variables right now. So we're going to click set Resolution, and so we see we have a 1 square kilometer map for us to have some fun in creating the terrain. Now the first step in creating the terrain is obviously creating the terrain by using the tools in the terrain editor to raise and lower the terrain, because if you're going for any kind of natural looking terrain, it's not going to be just flat. So with terrain highlighted here in our hierarchy, we'll go over here to the terrain script and we'll click the little box that has the arrow pointing up. You see our brushes. We have a pretty good variety of brushes. You can do everything from, well, let me make the brush size a little bit bigger so you can see it. And to raise the terrain, you just simply hold the left mouse button or click the left mouse button, and all the information is right here, and just hold shift to lower it. So, and obviously it can't go any flatter than its normal size, that's standard. Let's see what else we got over here. Oh, wait a minute, didn't mean for that to come back. Okay, so we've got different kinds of brushes over here. We've got this little star brush, kind of can do something like that. This outside star brush, you put stars in your terrain. Let's see, these are good for like peaks, like if you want groups of terrain peaked up, or or you can do that or that. So just the terrain, and we'll be mainly just working on the terrain tool that's already in Unity. In this one, there's a terrain toolkit that is also separate from Unity that you can download as well. But we're just going to stick to the one that's already in the browser or in the engine itself. Okay, so we don't want to do any of that. I'm just going to go ahead and revert all of our changes. Oh, we can't get them all. Well, this is a good time to show you the flatten brush. Well, the paint height. What you do with this brush is you can sample a target height with the shift key. So I click shift and somewhere flat, and then when you left click, it pretty much does that. Now, if I were to do maybe something like this, sample that height, when I hit shift, see it grabs it and pulls it up the same height as the sample it got. So in order to, now let's say if we want to smooth that terrain out, we could take something like that, and then just, now our opacity is kind of low, so it's not really smoothing it a whole lot. Now if we crank the opacity up on it, You see a much bigger difference. It's really starting to fade out now. So that's if you want to do that. Let's flatten it out again though. I want to start fresh. Basically, the terrain we're going to be making is kind of a outdoor level that would consist of just maybe 3/4 of it as being a kind of hilly uh, prairie type plain. We're going to put some water in it later, and the back part of it will be like kind of mountainous region. And then after we put everything into the level, it should look pretty good. So let's go ahead and make our hilly section, make our prairie section here. We're just going to get a soft brush, change over to there, and we want to turn our opacity down, way down, because if you turn it up, it's not going to make for very good slow rolling hills. So those pretty big hills. It may not look like it from up here. Once you get down to the player level, especially if it's a first person shooter or something like that, it'll be like you're in a mountain range. So we're going to turn it, let's try that. That's pretty good. See if we can't get a little bit closer so we can see what we're actually doing. There we go. And now you can see the variation coming through in the terrain. So we'll go back about that far. Scroll up and see here. Yeah, somewhere around there. We're just like, just some small hills. And then what we're going to do is crank up our brush a little bit. Yeah, something like that. Maybe not too hard of a brush. Yeah. Get it up here. There we go. And what I want to do is I want to kind of lead it up to the mountains. Like I want the front just kind of smooth over and then get rockier and higher as it's going up. So the mountain looks a little bit more gradual. And then maybe have a big peak back here in the background for us to take in. Let's see. I think that's looking pretty good so far. Like I said, I want it to kind of lead up to it a little bit, so we'll just kind of touch the edge of it a little bit with a higher brush. We put the hills, we make the hills a little more pronounced there by the foot of the mountain. And then keep everything nice and smooth leading up to it. Now, we can't really see, it doesn't really look very good like this at all right now. And that's mainly because it's just gray and flat. So, in the next video, we'll be adding textures and putting in skyboxes, so that way we can put an actual scene around our map, so that way it looks like the player doesn't feel like they're just standing on a flat plane in space. So thank you for watching, and if you found this video informative at all, please like the video and subscribe. Thank you.